Morning YouTube. There's been a lot of talk the last couple of days about YouTube partner program. You know, why are all the little people getting screwed? And really, you know, I think we all went through like the stages of grief for the last 2 days, and basically wanted to do like just a quick talk about it and just say, hey, what's the point? What's the point of continuing on YouTube without the partner program? So back in time, believe it or not, this channel has been here 2 years. So the reason I got started is because originally I just like cars. I watched a lot of Top Gear, Fast and Furious, all the same stuff that all you car guys love. And I just wanted a car. I didn't think about buying cameras or, you know, making videos or shows or doing any of these things. I just wanted a sports car. And so that's where I started. So my first car, not my first car, but my first sports car, my dream Hachiroku. I wanted an 86 so bad. Everyone compared it to everything. They compared it to Caymans, they compared it to Corvettes. There's even a video comparing it to a McLaren and even a Ferrari F12. And so, within reason, that's a sports car you can have. So I set out, I bought a 2013 just on a fly. I was having a 4Runner maintenance windshield change, doing some stuff, and I saw this beautiful black 2013 86 sitting on the lot. Had a Cybon hood, it was blacked out lights, everything, like murdered black. And I thought, that's the car, I want that car. And so I got it. And that's where this channel started. If you go back to, you know, Hero starts, the story of Hero, that was my very first video. So that first winter, started filming, decided the first thing I needed outside of my iPhone for making videos was a GoPro. And immediately figured out it was amazing the things you can do with a little camera and your phone. And so started making drift videos, started driving my FRS in the park, in the mountains, in the winter, doing things that, you know, you probably shouldn't do. But it was so much fun and I just loved it. And you know, back in those days, if I had, you know, 20 people watch a video, I was super stoked. I'm like, hey, 20 people watched my video. And so that was a really fun time. And from there, started connecting that spring with the local community, the car community, and just seeing the potential of what's happening out there in the car scene with guys like Locals. And that's where it really started to take off. All right, so that first spring, where it really started to take off, it was a funny thing. It wasn't, you know, getting ready to go to my first driven show and seeing all the, you know, independent YouTubers and creators out there. It was actually getting some work done on my car because I was doing a bunch of work that year and getting loaner cars. And I made 2 videos about the Corolla, my nemesis, the Corolla. I'll probably even eat shit for saying Corolla on this video. And I compared Corollas to different things and talked about the Corolla, at the time the Scion IM, and that video, in my world, that was my viral video. That was the one that took off. And I think it has like 14 or 16,000 views of me slagging a Corolla saying, hey, why don't they make a Corolla more like a Scion? So that was a funny time. But it really showed me like, what was the potential? And also, what should I talk about? Like, should I care if people care what I talk about? And for some reason, people love car reviews. And so when I talked about a car review, for me, the hits blew up. And that was a funny time for me. Sorry, Corolla, Toyota. You know, I'm a huge Toyota fan. The only thing I think wrong with, you know, my 86 is that it wasn't a Toyota. But at the time, in this age, you know, I did a whole video about why Toyota sucked, you know, in the 2000s. And I I think a lot of you agree. And the people flocked to that video and they loved that video. So next, the inevitable happened. Me and Jack hooked up, took my iPhone, and this is like shortly after I picked up Hero 1.0. So we took my black FRS down to the Driven show. 2016 Driven here in Calgary at the Oval was so ridiculous. I had no idea. I literally had no idea. You know, I'd followed locales, and you know, I started getting connected with guys like Birdie and Kings Must Rise. My friend Gutu is you know, someone I've known for a long time, and he's a good buddy with Birdie, so that connection was real natural. But what I saw at that show was incredible. This local scene in Calgary, what can happen with cars and what people are doing, but also the YouTube side was something I'd never seen. Here's all these young guys, you know, some of them just with iPhones, other guys with like full-on, you know, professional DSLRs, you know, with gimbals and lights, and making a video about a car show. And so me and Jack did our first show, blown away. And that's when I think I really saw, like, not just what's the potential, but how much love, like, I love it, and how many people love what we do. And then I think that was really the moment when I thought, man, like, I want that, what those guys have. So after the Driven show, 2016, the one thing I knew for sure was that, sadly, I needed a new car. You know, the cameras and the videos, everything was pretty cool, but what I really wanted was one of those cars. That's what I wanted. It wasn't about making the video, it was about the experience, actually doing it. And that's when it happened. I was like a kid in a candy store. I went to to a Toyota dealership, to Country Hills here locally, and they had this 2013 build that had been their show car for 2 years, only had 2,500 kilometers on it. And I knew, I couldn't even tell anyone. I was just like, I knew, that's the one. And so the car you see in all my videos now, that was like a totally fluke, chance purchase. I just saw it and knew I had to have it. Hero 2.0. So I had the new car, totally stoked. I was so excited for like a year. You can't believe it. I mean, that spring and summer was crazy. I was making videos of everything. I was making videos of like, hey, I got some new stickers from Birdie. We're gonna put stickers on the car. We made, I don't know how many videos we made. I know the channel has over 100 videos. And at that point too, like after the Driven video, it had probably some pretty good success. I don't remember how many 100 views, but you know, it became not about the views anymore. It became about like, hey, look at all this cool stuff we're doing. Let's just make a film of it. Let's make a video of it. Even did some travel videos, stuff with the family, did some skateboarding, did a trip to Whistler for Ironman. Did a lot of cool stuff and just got behind, you know, got behind the camera. And we didn't even have a camera. I was still shooting on an iPhone SE, the small one. And a GoPro Session, that tiny little Session. And totally like happy as shit. That's all I needed. So we were making moves, and the next move that was really legit, that really felt like car scene, I'm a tuner, I'm doing it, like we got a car, we're doing it, was I harassed Birdie for a year, like since I knew who he was, saying, hey, you know, you completely rebuilt your car, it's amazing, what are you doing with that old Nurspec wing? I wanted the Nurspec wing, but you know, since I had the black carbon hood, I wanted actually the black trunk with the wing. And so finally he broke down and we went to his garage that year. It was like the fall of 2016. And we did a full swap install of the full trunk with the Nurspec wing with Birdie. Like, you know, Kings Must Rise, we're doing it with Birdie. And you know, Gutu was there. It was such a cool time. And that made a huge difference, I think, too, in where I thought I was and where I thought the car was. It was kind of like, you know, I don't have superchargers and crazy, you know, crazy mods on my engine. We've done a lot of other stuff, But it was the first thing I did myself. Like, we did it. It was like DIY, and felt super proud, and it felt like, hey, that's legit. We're doing it. So I think it was actually spring, because I remember Bertie was cleaning out his garage. So anyways, I'm so stoked. I just, keep talking. So we had the wing on. We had some great photos. We had, lots of views and the videos, lots in my world. Probably had, sometime through that winter, we got over 100, so we joined the partner program for YouTube. So then you can do little things like have longer videos, you can have custom thumbnails. In those days, you had to be a partner to do that, and so that was cool. And then the next, like the groundbreaker, was Driven 2017. I was so intent. I thought, hey, I've got a legit car. I can do this. And even though I'd seen the show, and I know there's crazy stuff out there, I thought my car was worthy. Let's say that. So, hooked up with anyone who knew anything about Driven, and was like, please, I want to be in Driven. Literally 11:30, like it was almost midnight, the night before roll in, I got the call. You're in, be there first thing in the morning, you'll be in a solo spot. We were in the show, and so stoked, so happy that I was part of something. I was part of the scene, and we just brought every camera we had. Still just were shooting on phones and the GoPro, and we shot everything. We shot behind the scenes, we shot the show, we shot everyone we knew who, we'd met over the past year and a half, and just thought that was super cool. And so I think that was kind of almost like a plateau. It was kind of like, did we do it? It's like we did it. Hey, we did a show. Like, we did a show. I got the Driven sticker. I put it on my, my panel on my back window. I'm like, hey, we did a show. And then I don't know what happened. There was a bit of a lull. It was sort of like, okay, we did it. Now what? So what happened next? So that summer, started doing some road trips, did some different kinds of videos. We shot a trip out to the coast, went out to Ironman, did some different things. And in our YouTube world, didn't see a lot of change. We're still posting videos, but started watching some different kinds of videos. And started watching, really more vlog type videos, people who were just talking about their days and making little movies. So wait a minute. There was something actually happening in that time behind the scenes. So I still didn't have a camera, but I love the idea of YouTube, that you could make mini movies. Like, you could make little stories that look like movies, in 10 minutes. Or less. And I was traveling a lot during the time for my work, and I had the great opportunity to go to cities like LA and New York, Washington DC, Boston, and I really took every opportunity I had just to get down the street, like wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, walk down to the ocean, get down to Times Square, go see, the White House. I took in everything I could with my iPhone still. And those of you who don't know, some of you guys I know, you just watch my car videos, but there's actually a whole bunch of travel videos. If you look under my, what do you call them, like those listings? I have a whole bunch of travel videos from all these great cities and like all these historic places that I made movies of. And so I thought that was pretty cool. No one watched them. And so I stopped, you know how sometimes you can like publish on your channel or not. So there's things there that are on my channel, but you can only go and find them. But it was just a different window because, aside from the cars and the hype and all that love, I love photos. I love taking pictures. Composition is huge for me. And, through that and technology and how easy it is, everyone can get behind their phone and make a movie. I started making these little movies. And so that was kind of the stepping stone. And maybe that's where I had that lull in my car world. I was filling up that with something else. What happened next was really interesting because that's when I did a trip without my car. So what happened next? Boston. So my plan in the beginning of the summer was to see if I could get to at least 2 driven shows. So we were trying to go to Calgary and one more, maybe Vancouver. That one's pretty high end, so it wasn't likely gonna happen. But the other option was Edmonton. It's just down the road, it's about 3 hours. And unfortunately, I had a national business trip that same week. And so, just so happened, our friend Birdie had his car impounded for a month in Golden, BC. And so I said to him, hey, I'm gone all week. If you want to take my car, you can take my car. And so my car ended up in 2 driven shows. But my vlogging kind of took a different route. And so I made a video with no car just about my trip. And that's where the channel kind of took a turn. So shortly after that, my next trip, Toronto. And I've been watching a lot of Casey Neistat. Me and Jack have been checking out all his videos. Do What You Can't. There's a lot of things that are happening there that are just inspirational, and you know, it wasn't about money in the beginning. I mean, Casey had no money when he started, but now he has a lot of money. He can do whatever he wants. And so I did a pure travel vlog video. Up in the morning, going for a run, you know, skipping out to meetings, cars, airplanes, taxis, and didn't get a ton of views, but I loved it. It was a great experience just to go through that and do something that was completely not car. And so that brings us back to YouTube world and what's happening right now. So back to this week. Controversy, YouTube partner program, 90% of users getting dropped from the partner program. 90%. And the unfortunate thing is, you know, I'm not going to get into what YouTube is talking about and what the focus is for Google. It's money, but it's the community, and it's the way that people feel, the way they feel slighted, losing motivation, thinking, hey, how can I make it if I'm not part of the program, the partner program? And, you know, full circle. I think, like I said in the beginning, I was pretty steamed, you know. I think the internet, between Twitter and even Instagram, was pretty fired up with, you know, screw YouTube, this sucks, little guys are getting screwed. But in the end, I sat home yesterday, my day off, the day after the announcement, and edited this video that's been sitting in my camera and in my computer for about a month. And just thought, fuck it, I'm not doing it for money. I've never been paid, just so if there's any doubt. My channel's had some ads. It may still have some ads because I have kind of a bad habit of borrowing people's music without permission. But what it does is it doesn't block my video. It gives them the right to put videos, to put ads on my videos. So if you see an ad, it's not me trying to make money. It's someone else saying, hey, you probably did a copyright infringement that we're not too happy about. So really, you know, why continue YouTube without the partner program? Why did I do it in the first place? For the same reason. Because I love making videos, and, you know, I'm not going to stop. So what should you do? Do what Casey does. Do what you can. Just do it. Don't do it because you don't have enough money, you don't have a good enough camera, you don't have enough time. I'm not getting, honestly, if I had actually been paid out for my partner program, I would have made about 40 bucks, maybe in 6 months. It was never about the money. It was about the features. It was about being a YouTuber, being a creator. Do what you can. Keep doing it. Get it? You know, hey, you can go and, if you're going to try to save money for your YouTube channel, don't go on Casey's channel and spend money on hoodies, but I can afford it. I have a good job. I have, you know, a great house, great family. I've got all those things. I do this because I love it. That's why. So do what you can. Just do it. Don't stop. If you have to do something, work harder. Work harder at your job so that you have the extra money. Get an extra job. You know, work harder in the time when you have this. Take it. Just take it. If you've got a minute and you're watching some show, you know, you're watching someone else on YouTube instead of making your own video, turn YouTube off and turn on your camera, man. Do it. All you have to do is say, I can, and you can. So, will I still be here without the YouTube Partner Program? Yeah, I will. And would I like to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewing? Yeah, I'd like that too, but that's not the point. Do it for love.